Hello everybody, Zachary Fruhling, aka Cozy Azeroth here. I am continuing my ongoing series of TI Basic type-in programs, and I stumbled on this tiny little program it's from the Texas Instruments, I forget the name of it actually, let's see, it's from the Texas Instruments, what's the name of the organization? Texas Instruments Home Computer Users Group in Australia, Sydney, Australia, I believe. And there's this cute little Kaleidoscope type-in program. I've never typed it in. I just stumbled on it the other day. So I figured I would type it in. Let's read the program description here. Then we'll get into TI Basic. Type the program in, run it, see what we can learn from it, and see what we can make it do. Okay, so this is in a column called Younger Set. So this is like small programs for kids, essentially. And the person who sent this in says, "Dear Jenny, my name is Sukhjit Kondel, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, and I am 14. I have enclosed a program that I found, and it's called Kaleidoscope. Hope you like it. Yours sincerely, S. Kondel, East Ham, London." Okay, let's get into TI Basic, and we'll type this program in. Let's see here. So there's the TI 9948 start screen. Press 1 for TI Basic. And let's get typing. Okay, we have a couple of remark statements here. So 100 rem, and just a blank remark statement to start. Yeah, I don't know why one would do that, but okay. 110, Kaleidoscope. 120. Oop, I forgot to type rem. Excuse me. Let's fix that. 110, remark, Kaleidoscope. Let's clear the screen. Didn't take me long to make a typo in this short program. List. Okay, so 120 rem TI Basic. I mean, you can leave the remark statements out, but that's okay. In fact, I notice I have an extra space in there in line 110. There we go. Sorry for all that problem. But what did I do? That's interesting. 110 rem list. Okay, so interesting. The remark automatically adds in an extra space there. I didn't realize that. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Okay, that's not my fault. Okay, 130 call clear. Let's zoom in a little bit actually. 140 call screen 15. So that's a gray. 150 for j equals 32 to 152. For j equals 32 to 152. Step 8. Interesting. Okay, 160, call char. So defining a custom character here. J. Oh, I see. So we're rotating through the character number. Okay. And 16 Fs it looks like. Let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 170. Call color. This is interesting. We have kind of a fancy little formula in our call color statement. We don't see this too often here. So we got 2 parentheses. We'll go really carefully here. J divided by 8. Parentheses minus 3. Minus 3. Then we have integer of r in d times 16 plus 1. R in d times 16 plus 1, comma 1. So the background color is always going to be transparent. That's what the number 1 is doing. Okay, 180, call CHAR. Excuse me, HCHAR. This is actually going to draw the characters to the screen. Again, we have an interesting function here. Integer of RND times 24 plus 1. RND times 24 plus 1, comma, integer of RND times 29 plus 3, RND times 29 plus 3, comma J. So that's row number, column number, and J. So we're randomizing the row number and column number with this formula. 190, next J. And finally, after all those typos, sorry about that everyone, 200 go to 150. Okay, let's clear the screen, list out the program. We're looking for any obvious typos, math errors, syntax errors, anything of the sort. At a glance, it looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and run our Kaleidoscope program. See how we do. Interesting. For some reason, I kind of expected it to look more like a kaleidoscope. This is just essentially fancy color dots. I like the look of it, though. It's not too different than the random color dots program that we did a while ago. It's a fun way to see all the color combinations, though. I like that it's actually not just overwriting individual dots, but it's actually swapping out the color codes for the different character groups. So the dots themselves are changing not one at a time, but as a group. It's a fun way to do it. And we're getting more dots. The screen is slowly filling up as we're going here. Kind of a cool looking program. I like it. You know, it's like you could totally make just let this run, and this would be an awesome TI-99 4A screensaver. I like this one. So we don't know the original author of the program. You know, while it's running, let's take another look. It was sent in by this then teenager Sukhjit Kandel. This was mid 80s, so this person's in their mid 50s now. And little do they know that I'm doing this video on this program they sent into a magazine 40 years ago. Maybe the original author of this program will reveal themselves. It's interesting, if you look, we don't get any pixels right along the edge here. They might have been a little more careful with the math to make this fill up the entire screen. I'm not sure what the intention is there. Just getting a few screenshots because these all look really cool. I gotta pick one to use for the YouTube thumbnail. I mean, eventually it's going to fill up the entire screen, and the whole screen will be changing. It's very, very cool again. For a simple little program, it's nicely done. And the only complaint is the fact that, right here on the right side, it doesn't fill up the entire window, and we've got an extra pixel on the left for some reason. So, not sure why they were a little more careful in the statements. Of course, I could check my math and make sure it ended up as expected. I'm pretty sure I got it right, though, so we'll take a look. That's cool. I'm a sucker for cool graphics on the screen, always have been. But I still like, when I do programming, I still like programming video games. Creative computing, I love it. That's kind of a cool one. It looks like a little patchwork quilt or cross stitch or something to that effect. And this is a cool little program. I like this one. I know I'm kind of lingering on this one for a while, but it's fun to let it run. See what cool combinations you get, you know? It's totally emergent. You could add a randomized statement here, so every time it runs differently. That's one thing I think the program would benefit from. It's a good way to like just test out what different color palettes look like, which colors you like together, which ones you don't. That's kind of cool. Let's grab one of that. Little by little, the screen's filling up. In theory, if we let it run, the whole screen would fill up eventually. Except for the empty spaces on the left and right. Again, I'm not sure exactly why those were left there. I'm not going to fix it. I'm just no revisionist history. These type-in programs are what they are, warts and all. It's kind of hypnotic, you know. Those things like, you know, if you're coming out of the 70s, you're like, oh, let's watch this on a little LSD. Yeah, psychedelic. Increase your level of consciousness through creative TI-99 computing. Ooh, I like that color combo. That's fun. Yeah, it's too bad we don't know the original author of these. You know, it's this one was sent in by someone who found this program, but the source was not cited, so we do not know where this one came from. Maybe someone knows out there. If you wrote a Kaleidoscope program 40 years ago and you're watching it now, let me know. Put it in the comments if you're the author of this program. You never know, right? Just going to let this run for a minute. I don't know if I have the patience for it to fill up entirely, but I love these kind of screensaver-esque programs. It's a remarkably simple little program. I see someone tuning in live while we're running. This is the program we're running right here. This short little program in TI Basic from an Australian TI magazine from about 40 years ago. And we're just letting it run. It's just adding a new random square, and then it's changing the color groups for the different, basically what's happening, the characters from the different color groups are being overwritten by this block character, and then it's changing them in batches and groups. So that's what's resulting in this randomly generated pattern. That's slowly filling in. I'm not going to have patience for it to fill in entirely, but it's fun to let it run for a while and just see what we get. I like these little type-in programs. I still think, you know, it was so much easier to make cool shit happen on the screen 40 years ago than it is now. Even if you know some modern programming, it takes a bit more effort to get stuff happening on the screen. And, you know, we spent 5 minutes typing a program in, not even, and boom, we've got a cool display to look at. Pretty neat. Psychedelic. It's a fun way to test out the different color combinations on the system. Like the high contrast color schemes. You can get these kind of lower contrast ones like that. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with these old type-in programs. I think they're just, you know, they're simple and fun, you know. Forget that computers are just supposed to be fun too. They're useful, of course, but, you know, it's fun just to make cool stuff happen because we can. Humans make cool things. That's what we do. And little by little, it's filling in. That's taken a while because which dot is being added is happening randomly while the color groups are changing. So you can't really easily see when a new dot is added. But once in a while you can catch that a dot flashes before everything else. And a lot of the times it's going to write on top of a color dot that's already there. I know, I just want to let this run all night and see what it ends up as. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to end the stream here in a little bit. But I figured while I had a little time, type in one of these really short programs. The only thing that bugs me is this little extra board here. We could probably fix that, but you know, again, no revisionist history. This was the program as it was typed into the submitted to a magazine, so that's how we're going to do it, warts and all. We don't, no revisionist history. Some programs were just cool but imperfect. Also possible that you know, whoever crafted the program may have had a slightly narrower margin on their picture tube back in the day, so or a wider border that covered more of the screen, so maybe they didn't notice as much. That's possible. That happened back then sometimes. Or they just made a math error, more likely. You know, it's funny, when I saw the name Kaleidoscope, I kind of envisioned that it would be more like a kaleidoscope, like things kind of radiating out from the middle with some symmetry to it. But so kaleidoscope in a very broad sense of the term here. That's a cool color display, though. I like the color palette of this system, and you know, if you didn't grow up with this system, the color palette may not resonate, but for me it's like, oh, we're in TI 99 territory here. I can tell from the colors just at a glance. Like the 2 shades of yellow, like that. 3 shades of red for some reason. I don't know how the color palette was chosen for the system. Yeah, you can see there were parts of the design that were not filled in that are getting progressively more filled in as we're letting it run. Again, I see people kind of starting to tune in, but here's the program that we typed in. We cleared the screen, set the background color. We've got a for next loop that loops between 30, it counts up from 32 to 152 in increments of 8. Define a custom character. We set the color palette. There's a random number function here. Draws the character to the screen. Same thing, random number function there, and both the X and the Y coordinates. And then we just loop. That's all we do. It's a very, very simple program. But clever, you know, for just a few lines of code to get something that's visually this you know, elaborate and fun. Nice touch. I wish we knew the original author. We just know the name of the person that sent it in. Sukhjit Kondel found this program with no citations. We don't know who made it. But here it is, 40 years later, getting a little attention on Twitch and on YouTube. So the author of this program is now vindicated. But if you happen to discover this on YouTube and you wrote this program 40 years ago, I would love to hear about it in the comments. Unimportant though this program may be, you know, sometimes I think we forget that not everything has to be useful. Sometimes it's fun just to make cool things. Let them be cool. I work in education, and I sometimes think that people forget that education is supposed to be fun. You can learn things just to learn them, and it's a lot of fun. And you don't have to have, not everything has to have a skill or an application or a practical use or a something that's going to get you a job someday. It's fun just to learn things and make things happen because we're the kind of beings that do that in some Aristotelian sense. That's the kind of being we are, amongst other things. But we have a creative component that cannot be denied. And when you try to, it manifests itself in all kinds of wackadoodle ways. Like this, I guess. Yeah, I'm tempted to let it run all night, but I'm not going to do that. I like the fact that they rotate the background color too. That's a nice touch. I guess the background color is actually not being rotated. The background color is this gray. It's the this other foreground background color palette that's being changed. It's mesmerizing. It's fun to be mesmerized by something. And I still, even though I've worked in technology for quite a long time now, I still get mesmerized by cool things on the screen. Ooh, that's just pretty and fun. Just as interesting as some of the practical things I've done for work. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the TI-99 computer. It's, just made it fun to do cool, colorful things. It's not the best version of BASIC out there. It's not the fastest computer out there. Quite the opposite, actually. But they made it so easy to make cool stuff. And there are a lot of good resources for learning to be creative. I'm sure everyone who had a different kind of computer thinks the same thing about the kind of computer they grew up with, but this is the one I grew up with, so it's one I keep coming back to have, wackadoodle retro computer fun. Of course, I'm using the emulator Classic 99 right now instead of being on a real TI. I would like to set a real TI up and do some video capture, but I had trouble getting a video. I have a video capture device right here, literally right here, and I could not get it to work. I got the video to work, but I couldn't get the audio to work, and other people have had the same problem, so still need to work on the video capture part of doing retro computing on original hardware. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, Classic 99 it is. Highly recommended if you want to mess around with a TI-99. Just download the Classic 99 emulator. Just Google it. You find it right away. Sorry, I know it's maybe distracting while I keep taking screenshots. I'm just trying to get a really cool screenshot of this program. What I can show off on the, there we go, that's kind of cool. The YouTube thumbnail. It's funny, I like when there's no black in it. I like that when it's like fully immersed in color. I might have omitted black as a color option. Don't think of black when you think of a kaleidoscope. Yeah, now we're almost full. It's hard to really tell because you can't assume that just because you're seeing a square that's the same as the background color that there's no dot there. That might just be changing by happenstance. And so it's actually really difficult to tell what's filled in and what's not at this point. Part of the fun. Better living through retro computing. Yeah, it makes me want to do like an all-night stream or something. Just let a TI-99 screensaver like this run and run and run. See what we end up with. Yeah, it's getting cooler looking as it goes, right? It's not really a kaleidoscope. I'm not sure about the name kaleidoscope, but back in the day, anything to get some attention, right? So. It's funny, I kind of gravitate towards cooler colors, so when it gets all green and blue and purpley, I like that. But I have to admit, I like the different colors of yellow as well. I mean, in theory, you might end up in a situation where you get a whole series of the same numbers generated and the whole screen will be the same color. In theory, but highly unlikely. But sometimes it happens, where more of the design gets, gets the same, the character groups get the same color combination and more of the screen turns the same color. For a minute, anyway. I recently finished a series. I was going through a book, 101 Programming Tips and Tricks for the Texas Instruments TI-9948 home computer, and I did 101 programs from that book, and I've been typing and narrating those, and I was in the mood for something really lightweight tonight. I wanted to stream, but I didn't even want to play World of Warcraft. I just wanted to chill and do something mellow, and this is fun. Some sense of fun. I like bringing these old programs to light. I mean, this program probably hasn't been typed in 30 years, I'll bet you, or longer. If you're going to choose a program to type in, why would you choose a little program like this? Type in a cool game program or something. It's like I feel like I'm doing a little bit of like Foucault-style archaeology, uncovering little threads of computer history that would be forgotten about if someone like me didn't make a video about them. So I fancy myself a kind of digital archaeologist, uncovering little bits of the past. Maybe not even the important bits, but that's what's fun about it. Like, this is, someone took the time to write this, someone took the time to send this into a magazine, whoever worked on the magazine took the time to put it in the magazine, and maybe some people typed it in from there, but probably not too many. And, so in 40 years, there's quite a history to this game. This, not even a game, this demo. And waiting for someone like me to uncover it and type it in and throw it on Twitch and eventually on YouTube. So adding to the history of this wackadoodle little Kaleidoscope program. Fleshing out the multicolored tapestry, pardon the pun here, of the TI-9948. Now I keep getting a lot of screenshots, but I gotta pick a cool one for the YouTube thumbnail while I'm doing it, Oh yeah, look at all the spots turning gray. Yeah, so it just happened that some of the color groups got the same color. Or character groups, excuse me. I'm at the ready to take a screenshot of a cool color combination. It's funny, there's a part of me that feels like I'm like just writing the coattails. Like, I didn't even take the time to write this program. I just typed in someone else's program. Don't even know who. That's okay, I've written programs. I'm working on, I don't know if whoever's watching on the stream, if you've been watching my channel recently, I'm working on a retro 8-bit style fighting game, a Dragon Ball Z themed fighting game in Pico 8 right now, and I've been live streaming the programming of it. So you can catch that on my YouTube channel as well if you're curious about our work on that. It's almost done, like 99.8% done. We had a couple bugs that we fixed last time, and I would just have to do a little polishing, add a couple sound effects, and then we'll be done. And we're going to start promoting that game. Nothing we can sell because we don't own Dragon Ball Z, but we are very, very proud of the game. It's the most complicated thing I've programmed by far, and it works really well. I'm very proud of it. It's a fun-looking game. And we really almost maxed out the token count of the maximum allowed tokens in Pico 8, which is not too hard to do, but it's a pretty big program. But simple and fun. A 2-player fighting game. Yeah, punching, we got it. Projectiles, we got a power-up mechanic. It's good stuff. Loops within loops within loops within loops. It's funny, after doing so much programming when I was younger in BASIC, which is very linear, although you can jump around with go-to statements and subroutines, it took me a while to kind of wrap my head around the fact that game environments don't work like that. They have a game loop that loops 30 times a second. So when you write a function, you have to think this function is going to potentially run 30 times a second. So everything happens much, much faster. And it's just a different... kind of a gestalt shift I had to make in going from an environment like this to more modern programming environments, game programming environments. It was not too hard because I teach logic as well, and so the if-then statements come pretty easily to me. It's just, but I did have to wrap my head around the fact that, oh, this runs 30 times a second. This isn't just something that happens once. Okay, how do I write something that runs so quickly and does what I want it to do? A lot of little loops to make time delays and little loops to create little animations. If I want a 4-frame animation, I had basically a loop that counts from 1 to 4 and displays different animations in each frame, and it's all running 30 times a second. It's really cool. It's a lot to learn. I'm proud of it. I feel like I'm ready to dive in and make an even more complicated game now after we finish that one. I know I'm just rambling a bit here, but I'm just having fun letting this run. It's cool looking. And the screen's essentially filled now, I think. I'd be very surprised if there are any unfilled spots on the screen at this point, but there could be. We don't really know. We can't distinguish between color dots that happen to have the same background as same color as the background color, and ones that just haven't been filled in yet. So at this point, we just don't have a way of knowing. Not an easy way, anyway. I just love all the emergent color combinations. It really is amazing, the unfolding complexity of the universe. I mean, back to the beginning of time, there was nothing like this, and even 100 years ago, there was nothing like this, and nowadays something like this exists, and even something from 40 years ago, it's brought back, and here it is again. It's just interesting, weird, emergent complexity to the universe, and it's the story of the evolution of the universe right there. Story of emerging novel complexity. New properties that didn't exist before or had no reason to exist before, and they're constantly evolving in the universe. We tend to think we're the pinnacle of creation, so to speak, but we're not. We're just one little moment in time in the unfolding evolution of the universe. And this little game is a tiny little part. Not even a game, it's a little demo. It's kind of cool looking. That's what you get with my Twitch channel. You get cool things on the screen and random philosophical musings. It does make me want to write an improved version of this that solves the extra space on the left and maybe just makes it so there is no extra buffer space. On the other hand, it's kind of nice to see that there's a background color. I think, you know, the one change I would make would probably be, you know, either flesh it out entirely, get rid of these 2 extra squares on the left, there's 1 extra square on the right, column I mean, or create a 1 pixel border around the entire thing so you can see the screen color and then the background color as well. But I didn't write it, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to let it shine for what it is. Take it up with the author, whoever it was. I might try to find the person that sent it in, though. This day and age, you can find anyone on Facebook or whatever. See if we can razzle-dazzle them with this program they sent into a random Australian computer magazine 40 years ago. And I don't tend to like the red as the background color. I mean, everyone has their preference, right? But the ones that catch my eye are like the greens and the blues and the yellows as the background color. That red background color does not resonate with me. It's too harsh. Although, as my grandmother said, contrast is the first rule of art. She probably didn't coin that phrase, but it's true. You know, don't have any contrast, you don't have any art. Have something interesting, you have to have contrast. If it's music, it's contrast in volume or pitch or chord progressions or whatever it is. If it's visual, color contrast, contrast in shapes, there's a lot of different kinds of contrast. But you don't have any art if you don't have any contrast. This is contrast writ large right here. Yeah, must be why I'm a contrarian. Make life interesting, you have to have a little contrast. If everyone's going right, I'm going left. That's how I roll. Sometimes to my detriment, sometimes to my benefit. Yeah, but we'll let this run for, 30 minutes now. I doubt anyone who ever typed this program in will let it run for this long, if I had to guess. So we're in uncharted territory here. Well, I think on that note, I've had about enough Kaleidoscope, so I'm going to go ahead and end this stream and probably call it a night. I might be back a little later, I'm not sure. If you are watching this live on Twitch, be sure to check out other TI-99/4A content on my YouTube channel. And if you're watching this after the fact on my YouTube channel, check out the rest of my YouTube channel for more TI-99/4A content, along with retro programming, retro gaming, retro computing, miscellaneous educational videos on a wide variety of topics of interest to me, both professionally and personally, and lots of World of Warcraft live streaming these days. And same thing, if you're watching this on Twitch, check out my YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, check out my Twitch channel under Cozy Azeroth, which is a little nod to the tip of the hat, or a nod to my favorite modern game, World of Warcraft. And in any case, I appreciate the enthusiasm for these unimportant but still interesting retro computing live streams, and I also appreciate likes and follows and especially subscriptions, all of which help me out greatly in these challenging and frankly disturbing financial times. So thank you very much. I really do appreciate the enthusiasm. Everyone have a good night, and I will catch you in the next TI-99 4A video soon. Take care.